China is for China. China is not for Africa. How can an African be a foreigner in an African country? To gain mentality, we need to let go of the influence of the West, who were still colonized under white supremacists.
And yeah, welcome to FKU Africa podcast. This is your host, Maneza F8, man. We're still keeping it down, still keeping it low. We are in the depths, man, in the world of the Durban. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. We're still keeping it cool, keeping it fresh. Uh, we are in the 2020. This is the first episode. I didn't iron for this one. I'm sorry. As you can see, my shirt is not ironed. Really sorry for that. But who cares, man? Who cares? Because after this, I'm gonna throw this shirt again on the wardrobe. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling. I'm not going anywhere, you know what I'm saying? But probably I would go to the wood to wood. Wood versus wood, yeah. There is an event in Bed Center here in Durban, the hip hop event by Rashid K. So probably I would go there. Starting at 12, it's 1 o'clock now that I'm recording this on Sunday, the 16th of January. This is the first episode. It's actually coming tomorrow, but I'm recording it today. It's live on YouTube now, but I'm gonna get the podcast going for my website. That's where you get the podcast at tomorrow. Also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube. You'll get this tomorrow. So yeah, man, I'm just thankful for, especially for the last year. Last year was a moment where I feel like FKU Africa podcast has made a lot of difference, and also it's the pivotal year because last year we had a lot of interviews with famous people. We had interviews with Pastor from Mhlabane FM. I know most of you knows who that is because mostly people who speak Xhosa know who Pastor is, knows who Mhlabane is. So I'm thankful to the brother for coming through. That episode played a pivotal role for me to get into the next guest that I did have. Also, potential guests that are still coming. It's because of that episode that I did with Past, that the openness that he had. If you can still remember, he was open about most of the stuff, and he was comfortable. I think the interview, all in all, did go well, and he enjoyed himself talking to me. He was telling his story. So I'm thinking of getting him back this year, maybe at the end of this year. For now, I'm thinking of getting Mlu because I think Mlu has a lot to offer in terms of hip hop space. He really likes hip hop and the sport because I'm very much interested in sport. So I want to know his perspective in a lot of things that are catching my eye. So my next guest that I'm thinking of getting is Blue, or if not Blue, Sliso, also Lucky's. So that's my and Marfa, of course. So those are the guys that I need to talk to this year from NFM. Because I believe like the guys that we grow up listening to, like Sly. So I remember him when we were going to school, man. It was crazy because when the song by Lloyd Banks, actually it was the beat. Or actually, I don't know if it was the beat of the song of "You on Fire." Boom, 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 boom. At that time, I have to wake up because it's time now for school. So that was the thing, man. You knew when that song comes in, you know that it's time for school. So it was that crazy, man. So this last year, I actually went to Eastern Cape for the first time from driving from Durban. It was crazy, man. It was crazy driving from here in Durban to Eastern Cape because I'm used to. I stayed in Cape Town for all my life, so I grew up in Cape Town. I was born in Cape Town. Starting driving while I was in Cape Town, driving to Eastern Cape, in Cape Town. It was the first time for me driving from here in Durban to Eastern Cape. And the perspective that I had for the road to Eastern Cape, it was the perspective that I have for the road, either N2 or N1, coming from Western Cape, Cape Town, or Worcester, where I was staying. So I always thought that the distance is pretty much the same because it's another province. So I didn't pay attention to any of it. So on the 23 of December, left Durban around I think 12 or 1. I left Durban, drive to Eastern Cape. So the first of all, when you're driving N2, what I'm building up to is I got lost on the road. Got lost, man, while I was driving to from here, while I was in Potchefstroom. When you're driving into international road, it doesn't have turns. You don't jump to another road. You know that you driving straight. So there's a toll gate somewhere in Potchefstroom. So when I was there, I was like, okay, I'm going to the toll that doesn't have a lot of cars. So the one that doesn't have a lot of cars was the one that was on my right while I was driving. So I was there, I paid, and I drove through. Somewhere around, I was like, I'm not seeing any boards that are talking about Coxstar because I know when I'm from Potchefstroom, the next thing that I want to see is Coxstar. What I'm seeing now is flex stuff and what. I was like, nah, I'm in Boston Jones. I was like, no, this is not. What I did, I took out my phone and I put on a GPS, put straight off over, and then it told me to turn around because I'm not driving in the right road. Must turn around and pay again because you need to pay when you're coming from that road. Same toll, it's different toll. You pay and you go up the bridge, then you go to town in Potchefstroom. So my problem was this: with that road, when you're in Potchefstroom, why do you have to go? Was what I was supposed to do is to go to the off ramp after I paid on my left, off ramp, join another road, join another road. This is supposed to be the same road, but I'm leaving the N2 that I was driving with. I'm joining another road that's supposed now to be the N2. I don't know how they make roads, but that didn't sound right for me. That didn't seem right. I was like, what's happening? Why am I in another road? Because now if I'm joining another road that's coming from another place, this is not the same N2. So I joined the road, drive through. When I was just passing the town of Potchefstroom. The rain, man. Driving in that N2 road, December time, the rain and the mist and the thunderstorming, lightning, all that. While driving in the road that I don't even know, driving for the first time, drove. And I drove to. At that time, I was driving to Kokstad. So throughout the journey, it's thunderstorming, it's misty. I don't see anything in front of me. There's a lot of cars. I cannot overtake because there's a lot of cars that are coming in, and I don't see on further away what is going on, and I can see that there's a truck that is holding out the car, so I can't see what is coming. So I'm just driving 60 meters per hour, 60 kilometers per hour. But then I drove, man. What I'm alluding to is that the driving from here to Eastern Cape, it's much better, man, than driving from Cape Town because the time I left here around 12, around 9. I was there already. That could never happen when you're coming from Cape Town. No matter how fast you're driving, that could never happen. If you're driving from 12, expect to be there around 11 or 12 again, or 10. You're driving 10 hours. You're driving really fast. But here, I was there around that time because there's a lot of stoppages, and the weather was bad coming from, and also in Mount Frey, there's a huge traffic jam in there that is holding us for like 45 minutes. I was hold there. So if you're coming from that side and you are watching, please, because I hear there's alternative roads that I can take in Mount Frey to avoid the traffic jam that is in there. So if you someone that is coming from that side, please let me know, man. And let you can help other people also in understanding which other roads we can take when we get into Mount Frey to avoid the traffic jam that is in town. That town is not even 4 kilometers. I think it's like 2.5 kilometers. When you're entering town and when you are leaving town, it's like I don't think even it's 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers, I think it's 1 kilometer driving from when you begin the town and when you're ending the town. The traffic jam, man, it was holding me, and you don't see what's happening. It's just everything is just stops, just waiting, waiting, waiting. And suddenly there's a movement, and now you're moving. So if you are from that side of town, Mount Elif, Mount Fred, Dutwa, and you know that side, please let us know, man. Because I was driving to Tom, and it was my first time going that side, traveling that side. So I don't know what's happening in there. The jam was crazy. That's another thing. And coming from Kumbu to Mtata, they are fixing the road in there. So there's stop and go. And you can only drive in one lane. There's no overtaking and all that. A lot of cars driving. It's crazy. Driving 40, 60, 80 if you are lucky. Most of the time I was driving 60. So spend a lot of time in that road as well. So if it wasn't for that, I was going to be there around 7, I think. I was going to be there around 7. It wasn't for all of that. But then that what you expect when you're driving in the national roads. Anything can happen, anything can hold you. That's the time that you take. Not that I'm comparing my time with anyone's time, but that's what is happening when you drive. You can't say that I'd have less time or more time because of this and that. That is what's happening in the roads. Just need to make the best of it. So arrive in the Eastern Cape, nice times. Wake up, go to a ceremony. Kufu, there was, I think we call it page. Akubuyisa akubuyisa no. Ukapa, yeah, Ukapa beach. It's happening for one day. Slaughter the cow in the morning. Uh, eat i- i- imibengo throughout the day. Around 12, sipaka unqweme, ulusu. After that, ngena icawanyana nje. Emveni koko ndiyabila. Kuphula inyama, uzibhekile ezithile, nebhotile uba zikhona kuselwe, be right. So ndavaya around 3, 24 ngaloo mini leyo. Around 3 ndavaya endlini. I don't know what I did. At 25, in the rural areas, there's no big taverns where I'm from. Not that I'm a tavern person, but when you are in the Eastern Cape, you need to be around people that grow up with, throw up around, some they throw up around you. You enjoy yourself. So there was none of that. So we were just chilling. 25 was actually, I went to Kwenyilali ekuthiwa kukumbaxa, where my grandmother was born, from my father's side. So I was there with my cousins, my father's cousins. I don't know what to call them. They are mostly my father's cousins. So I guess ndingumzukulwana. That doesn't make sense though, but yeah. But I had fun, a lot of fun in there, with the people. We had fun. There was primate and all that, some alcohol. Until the morning came, I went back. So I also visited a town called Willowvale, Kukatyane. My cousin went to fetch a daughter there, so I had to drive him there. We came back. It was nice, man. I went there for the first time as well. Kukatyane. It's a beautiful town, small town, few shops, not more than five big shops. People are nice, nice times. So that was that. So that's enough about me in the Eastern Cape, man. That was nice. I came back on, I think on the third, on the second. I came back on the second. Drive again back from Tomo to via Amakwe to Dutwa side to Mtata. Because the bridge is actually broken in Engcobo. That's the shortest route that I could take. But then I wanted to go to see my child, because my daughter stays there, and my girlfriend is from that side. So I went to see them. I was there around 8, but my girlfriend was late as usual. So she came in around 10, 9, 10, 9, I think. So I stayed an hour and a half with her and my daughter. We spent some time, had fun. And I had to leave because I was driving to Durban. So I left around that time. I was in Queens, no, not Queenstown. I was in Tata around uh, 2, I think. So from Tata to here in KZN, I was here at 6 o'clock. Before 6, I was here. So nice times, nice ride. And then when I got here, I turned off my phone. I see a lot of stories happening. I'm not gonna get into any stories now, man. This is was just to let you guys that we are back. We're gonna have these episodes now on Monday. Every Monday, getting these episodes early or late, but Mondays getting these episodes. No more Saturdays, but probably we're gonna bring on Saturdays for something else. But yeah, we're still planning on that. Please support the podcast. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. But mostly the podcast, the shift in the podcast that I see the actual success is when I ask my people to go to my website and watching there, and I have things set up, plugins that are set up to monitor the stats and people who are watching, the locations that are watching from, just like YouTube, the devices and how do they get there. All that is set up, so I can see what is going on, and there's a lot of views that are coming in my podcast, and also on, as I said in the last podcast, on Google Podcasts. When I see the analytics from there, a lot of people are there who are watching from there, because I think it's people who are in the office. Most offices they can ban YouTube and other sites, but they cannot ban most of them. They cannot ban Google Podcasts or Google services, because most of them they are using Google services for other things that they are doing in the offices and all that. So subscribe to the podcast and follow if you are in any other podcast, any platform in watching the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Maneza F8.co.za. That's the website where I'm expecting you to watch this podcast, so that I can get something out of it. If you feel like supporting, check out the support in the description. You will see what you get there. You can donate stuff. You can go and buy music. As in that way, you are supporting us. So you can get nice mics like this one. The mic is great. Nice services like the StreamYard that I'm using to record this live. You can now, if you support, you can pay this StreamYard service for a year, so that we don't have watermarks and all that. But the service that we get now is good and exciting. Fikiria kwa undani huku. Let's continue this, man. I thank you for your support. Let's continue supporting FKU Africa podcast as we should, as we are. If you are from the Eastern Cape, please submit all the videos of the imigidi celebrations. Abantu abaxhansayo, abanxibe kakuhle. I want to portray that on the podcast as time goes by. Submit that on fkuafrica at gmail.co.za. You can just check in the email address or the description wherever you're watching. Submit that. I'm gonna showcase all the nice African. I have a lot of videos as well that I took in emicimbini ebendikuyo. So I'm gonna showcase that. Please submit that. I want to showcase all the nice times people are having in the Eastern Cape. Fikiria kwa undani huku. Asante.